Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, July 29th. I'm Don Swanker, and I'm going to call the Jackson County Board of Supervisors meeting to order. To my left, I have Mike Steines. To my right, I have Nen Flagel, Bjorn from IT, Lisa from the auditors, Luann, the executive assistant, and Brittany from the press. And first up, I'm going to say is Lisa.
Okay.
Becca's here.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't see you in the back. You were looking down, Becca. Becca flew hot from zoning. Sorry about that. You can just get, if you're first, you can just go on up to the chair.
I am here. The zoning commission reviewed and unanimously approved a rezoning request from Mark Heights for the property at 38209 Highway 52 to rezone from A1 Ag to R1 residential. If we could set a public hearing for that.
And is there a proposed hearing date?
August 19th.
Yes.
Does 9 AM work? Is that a yes from everyone?
I make a motion for that. Do we need to make a motion to say?
Action. Did you make a motion?
Yes, you
Yeah.
did.
Sorry, I will second that.
Got a motion by Nen, second by Mike to set a public hearing date of August 19th, 9 AM for the proposed ordinance 318 for the Heights
Yeah.
rezoning from A1 to R1. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Any other updates?
Not at this time.
We get your emails, we appreciate them, of course, and you know, what's on your agenda for changes or requests, and I appreciate that, I really do.
With the
I'd like to
pending,
drive out and take a look sometimes. I mean, I see the pool request and it looks pretty obvious that where the old pool was, so.
Right, yeah. And that actually did not pass last night.
What the heck?
Mhm.
It's interesting that they said to move your fireplace though, because it was half one.
That was definitely from the Army Corps.
Yeah.
Yes, they did not like the fireplace there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so with the pending in retirement on Friday, how do you feel you're doing in there? Anything we can do to help you or stay out of your way?
Yeah.
So that's
It's
questions?
appreciated when I give back. the
Feel like
call,
you,
yeah.
you feel like you got a pretty good handle on it, or at least a decent handle, or?
Think so,
Okay.
until something comes up maybe,
Okay.
but yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep up the good work. Haven't heard any complaints, so no news is good news.
Thank you, you appreciate that.
You betcha.
Yeah, let us know if you need something.
Will do. Have a good day.
You bet. Great
Thank
day.
you.
Next up, we have visitors and citizens, so I don't see anybody here and nobody's online, so we can come back if we need to. Now we can go to Lisa.
Good morning. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the July 22nd, 2025 board proceedings as written by Auditor Smith and authorized publication in the official newspapers.
So moved.
I'll second.
Got a motion by Mike, second by Nen to approve the minutes of the July 22nd, 2025 board proceedings as written by Auditor Smith and authorized publication in the official newspapers. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I need a motion to approve and authorize the auditor's office to issue warrants in the publication of the claims listing in the amount of $312,216.20.
Moved.
I would second.
Motion by Nen, second by Mike to authorize the auditor's office to issue warrants and the publication of the claims listing in the amount of $312,216.20 as presented. Any other discussion?
Just a note in there that there was, I didn't add it up, but there was a lot of rock and that includes the reclaimed rock and a lot of quarry rock and so that's improvements.
There was a few little like subscriptions and things in there, but nothing too out of the ordinary.
Yep.
I'm assuming roughly kind of like baseline is about 200,000, 160, 200,000 a month. So
Yes.
there was some CPR in there we had questions on. We want to kind of talk about a little bit on why we're paying for CPR when there's instructors about.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know, does he work for, is it Northeast Iowa Community? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Well, the sheriff's department had some training.
Because I was asked about that and I didn't. I was actually had to leave early yesterday. So when I was asked, it was, I think that
Was it
he-
paying for the cards?
I think that's it.
Oh, that.
There's a
Because it
certificate.
wasn't much, it was a 15.
There's a
Right.
certificate or a card or something.
Yes.
Then there's
So
a
you gotta
charge for
pay-
the.
Pay
Yes,
the $15
So they must
each
need
person for
that
the cards.
Okay.
that was my
That
thought.
makes
All right,
sense.
any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And then we have been requested by ISAC, Iowa State Association of Counties, to pass this resolution. They must have I sent the letter that we had
Yep.
received, and so, there must be a question as far as their tax status. So they have requested that we pass this resolution. So today I'd like a motion to approve resolution number 11-07-29-2025 to designate voting representatives for the Iowa State Association of Counties.
I would make a motion to approve.
I would second that.
Got a motion by Mike, second by Nan to approve resolution 1138-07-29-2025 to designate voting representatives for the Iowa State Association of Counties. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Motion carries.
That's all that I have for the board today. Thank you.
All right, Luann, we're on a roll.
And John will be here at 9:30, so we'll get him done before May shows up.
Okay. He'll be here at 9:10.
All right. Calendar for this week. After the board meeting this morning at 3 p.m. this afternoon is a Mississippi Valley Workforce, too many rivers. Mississippi Valley Workforce CEO meeting by Zoom for Don. And you're right, that's a Zoom only meeting. Tomorrow, Wednesday, July 30th, I will be out of the office. And the next thing on the calendar is our next regular meeting on Tuesday, August the 5th at 9 a.m. And that's all I have for business for you this morning.
All right. Any questions for Luann? Boards and commissions.
Oh, we had Prosperity Eastern Iowa yesterday at Dubuque. It was 2.5 hours, but there was a lot of information that was kind of passed around, legislative updates, what might be on the agenda coming up. Of course, Tiff will be on it again. Tax reform. We had a report on transportation updates from Chandra. And some interesting stuff coming about. So they're doing some studies in Dubuque, where like if road closures and accidents already just automatically pop up to your dash, and when the light's gonna turn yellow, and if it does, you cannot make it, it will tell you to stop. So there's a lot of stuff coming up.
New box technology.
Self-driving vehicles.
Yeah, they've been working on that
Yeah.
for a couple years up there. They got part of it going.
Yeah, and they did that in the DOT meeting, several months ago. We talked about a lot of these new things with the self-driving cars, of course, and with
Automatic traffic lights and stuff they want to put. That's in a lot of movies.
simultaneously, yeah, so it's, I said, I really like all that stuff and like to hear about it, but I'm really concerned about the bridges and stuff that I can't fix. And
Right,
locally in rural Iowa, it says,
right.
this is my concern, so.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it was an
That's where
interesting
it's even,
meeting, of course, there was updates on the brownfields and such and other things, but it was interesting, and May was there, of course, and she might have some updates on that also, but otherwise, that's it.
The RPA, there was nothing really big. It was kind of an abbreviated, almost why we have this kind of meeting.
Yeah, I think we,
And that's it all. I think it's been most of the meeting was just them reading the next.
next
item on the
agenda, I guess that's why it was a Zoom only.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
But yeah, otherwise I didn't really have a whole lot.
all right. Well, with that, I think we'll take a brief recess. Okay, it is 9:57. We'll go ahead and reconvene at this time, and that's we have is May Hinchin from ECIA, Executive Director Extraordinaire.
Good morning.
Good morning. So just wanted to take an opportunity to come back, right? I was here last fall with Lori as the CEO of the mental health region, but just reintroduction right now is the executive director for ECIA. So I had a chance to see Mike and Nin a few times since I started, but Donna hasn't seen you yet, so
Welcome.
thank you.
Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday, some like yesterday. So just wanted to, have a conversation this morning about ECIA support in Jackson County and what we can do, what we have done and the just kind of forecasting for the future. So I prepared this, I had asked our directors to give me a list of the projects that we've done in Jackson County in the last 3 years. And so you see that list and we don't have to go through it all because you know all of this, that the things that we've done, that we've supported here in York County. When I look at this list, I see it as pretty well-rounded as far as what ECIA does, right? So I see CDBG and the lead homes and the older, the aging in place, the older Americans, type projects, helping people to stay in their homes. I see here roads and planning for roads. I see, the Keep Iowa Beautiful and housing, right? So for me, when I look at this, and I've been doing this with all 5 of our counties, you're my third, right? I've got 2 more to go to, is kind of looking to see, are we fulfilling our partnership with you as a county? I like this list, maybe some better than some of the others that I've looked at that like I said, I think it's pretty well-rounded. But what I would like from you is just a discussion about, hey, something has gone really well, maybe something that hasn't gone well, and what more can we do? I want to make sure that as our responsibility and our commitment as a council of governments to support our communities, our counties, to ensure that their cities are great places to live, that we're fulfilling that. So just kind of a discussion about that this morning.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this goes back quite a ways, and some of the stuff that, I mean, of course, that we're well aware of, and some of it maybe not so much is. So, I mean, unless you're on the board for lead-based paint or abatement or something like that,
Yeah.
I do see something here with, I thought, well, you could charge less for a fee, but right? And maybe we can negotiate that out a
I
little
think
bit.
you're on the council that approved those fees.
Well, we approve most of them.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a good partnership and I appreciate what ECA does. Like you said, we did the study of going forward, what might happen and what's the future is, what it holds. Of course, we don't know how funding and revenue is gonna be available.
Right.
But, I mean, we talked about rebranding and all that kind of thing, but,
With my experience at the city before, and then now the ECI is always there to lend a hand and figure out ways to find paths moving forward. So it's been, my experience been a mutual beneficial for everybody to be involved with ECIA. If there was, I don't know if I should put this out now, if there was one critique is more of a kind of administrative in the fact that you look at there's the board and then there's the executive board, and as an alternate to Mike, maybe I'm not quite so privy as like with the exec board, is there terms limits? Is there a spot that we fill, or how do they get filled? Is there a rotation? It just doesn't seem at times there's clear guidance on that.
I would actually agree with you. I've spent a lot of time reviewing those bylaws in the last 2 months. And, there are term limits for the officers, and that's it. And otherwise the bylaws are silent to the terms. On the executive committee, every county gets a representative, and then the chairs of our nonprofit subsidiaries that are underneath us, they all get representation too. But the bylaws are pretty silent on for how long they can serve. So a discussion that, I'm 2 months in, but I think probably needs to happen. Not that we want to kick anybody out, because a lot of times, sometimes in boards, when you have people who are willing to serve, you want to hold on to those folks because some boards are hard to fill.
Absolutely.
Right. And I haven't been here long enough to really get the gauge on that. If we have people who are like, I want to be next, or if we're like, I know in a couple of counties, we're like, hey, we've got to replace some board members and we need to get going on that. So kind of trying to figure that out, but our bylaws are silent on that, on that point.
Cool. No, it's been a great collaboration. You guys are always there. a good crutch to lean on to kind of help, because a lot of
Good
times
place
we're,
to reach out
we're,
to.
we're not what you call, professional. You know, our job does a lot of learning as we go and stuff, so reaching out for programs and things, it really helps out, it really makes our job a lot easier. And it helps us expand what we do for the county a lot more, I think gives us more reach. more
And I think
availability.
there's very knowledgeable people up there that, you know, if they don't know, they kind of try to steer you in the right direction to try to get our citizens the help they need.
Well, we've had extensive help in the last couple of years, especially with our zoning ordinance, you know.
Right.
Laura here,
Yeah,
running through that with us, and she's got a lot of knowledge over the years.
she does.
So, and she has a lot of code knowledge too, not just information, but this is how it's wrote.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we appreciate that. It's something that we can't expect our zoning person who is busy doing other things to write that kind of stuff. So we appreciate the help on that. There's nothing else out there. So I think it's been a good relationship, you know, I reiterate what Don says a little bit, you know, you have a exec board of 5 or 6, and then you have a council of 35, you know. So it's and according to the bylaws, the exec board answers to the council or approves bills. So it's just all work in progress, I think, and I appreciate, I really appreciate you being there and looking it over.
Yeah, I've been just, you know, trying to absorb all of those things as just far as like, how can we be more efficient? And really, honestly, how can we ensure that we're engaging the council as much as the executive committee? And so I started that essentially every other month. Email out to the full council. It's every other month because on the opposite month, I see you, the people who are on the council, right? And so I tell you everything I know at those meetings. And then on the off month, then sending an email out, just as kind of an update of what we're doing. And board engagement is really important to me. That's what I spent a lot of time on at the region, is making sure that my board was informed about what was happening. And I never ever like public officials to be surprised at a board meeting. So just to like give you a heads up, like we're dealing with this, or this might be an ask or just an issue that we're dealing with, just so you feel comfortable when you get there to that meeting, that you have some knowledge, and then giving the board the opportunity to discuss it in that public sphere. Real careful, of course, with open meetings, but
Oh, I really
Thank you.
appreciate that, because again, you know, council is a large group.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes, and obviously, we all do the same thing. We get complacent a little bit and says, oh, yeah, that sounds good, you know. You got a consent agenda, well, yeah, it's all good.
I actually texted this guy after our meeting 2 weeks ago, thanking him for his questions, right? Because some executive directors might just want a council who agrees with them. And, you know, at the end of the day, I probably want the council to agree with me, but I also want them to hold me accountable and to ask the important questions. And Mike does a really good job of doing that. And I don't get super defensive about that type of thing. It's the checks and balances. And
And it's also
really
just
like that.
understanding exactly why, because there's a lot of behind the scenes you don't know. And so
Yeah.
asking questions helps everybody kind of, you justify your answer and us understand the answer, and we learn more, we proceed and, you know, like more informed, so.
And if we get to a point where I can't justify the answer, then the board shouldn't be deciding on it that day, right? I mean, maybe it's not a no vote, but maybe it's like, okay, we table this until we have a little bit more
We need
information.
more research, yeah.
Exactly, yeah, I mean, that's a type of just process that I believe in, so,
No.
yeah, I'm always happy to have people ask questions. Speaking of open meetings, with the new law that changed, that all new elected officials, hopefully we just won't have any here, right? But all new elected officials have to have the open meetings trainings within 90 days. I've had a request for us to ECIA to provide that training. So we have cities and counties who are our members. Would you have an interest in Jackson County if we pursued that? It's kind of a process. I'm just gonna get gauging people's like, hey, would this be good?
I would say yes.
Especially if we have to have it.
Right. So I reached out to the,
Because they're gonna have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
why should we have somebody trained and, you know, when we can send them 20 minutes away and.
yeah,
I think it's a great idea. You know, I don't want the Kurosh guy popping up and saying, you gotta do this in the next 10 days, so.
I reached out to the Iowa Public Information Board, today's only Tuesday, so I guess it was yesterday. And the Iowa Public Information Board has to approve the curriculum. And they've only approved, well, they have one that's pending right now, and it's with the Iowa Association of School Boards. Great group. That's great for, for school board members, but I was thinking county,
I'd be
city
shocked
folks.
if ISAC doesn't.
I would too, I should reach out to them.
Yeah,
Are they,
Andrea,
would they do
you know
something,
Andrea?
Yeah,
Yeah.
would they
I
do
would-
something in August?
Well, that's a good question. Maybe we have.
it's not on the agenda.
Well, maybe it should be.
I guess I have a question. Is this gonna funnel down to township trustees and
It
clerks?
says all new elected officials.
Exactly.
Right,
So what's gonna happen when a city council person quits and the new person is appointed?
they have to have the training within 90
Exactly.
days.
So that's what, I mean, we gotta,
Yeah.
and so who's the,
Are we grandfathered in?
so again.
I think so.
Nice.
I do. I
think so.
Might be
Yeah.
worthwhile opening it up.
Well, sure. We
It's,
can always
it's good to
swap.
have a refresher. I know.
Right.
Um.
I mean, you get the book, but.
Shirley Melville was really good about every elected, new person got elected, she gave them the open meetings law book.
With that being said, it was on our agenda in the spring conference.
Well, here's also what I was gonna say, because Iowa Public Information Board has to approve the curriculum. And they have approved 0 so far. The law went into effect July 1st. I bet at new officer school in January. Isaac will probably is intending to have their curriculum
Mm.
approved by IPIB by then. And so new officer school in January, or new elected
But that's
official.
not required either. They don't all-
Oh. No, but if I'm a newly elected
Right.
official and I know that it's a requirement and I see that Isaac is offering it, I'm probably gonna
Yeah,
go.
right.
But no county official is elected in 25. It's only, so does the cities and schools have new officer school?
Well,
School
the
board
cities-
does,
So
The
Yes.
League of Cities has,
League of
there's
Cities,
like
but-
4 classes you could go through, they're
Yeah.
like 4 weekend
I'm saying,
classes.
because
Yeah.
when I think
you're
of new
right, there's no
officers
county in the,
Right.
right, so it would probably be
in 20.
27.
27.
So Isaac has a long time to get theirs approved, developed and approved.
Well, but I'd be shocked if they don't offer something, you know.
Yeah, I would totally agree. So the Iowa Public Information Board attorney who responded to me yesterday said, he gave me a link and I went to the website, and IPIB says that they will share their materials, but they won't approve a curriculum that just essentially regurgitates their materials. So my intention was to take their materials, look it over and discuss it with our legal counsel, to make sure that we have everything, that
There
is
should be a,
correct.
there should be a standard that needs to be talked about. How do you
That's what
not
they say they will-
regurgitate the
well,
standard?
Yeah, I read, excuse me, I read the standards on their website yesterday too, and it was like, you must talk about communications, the standards are defined, but not like how to approach them
Okay.
necessarily.
I was just
And
gonna
I
say.
think, I think that's what their sample curriculum that they'll send out, and then we just kind of have to make it our own. And so I thought with our council approval and, working with our legal counsel, that we could develop a curriculum that I would submit to IPIB for approval, and then we can offer that.
So that you could offer it yourself without,
Yeah.
yeah.
To be a little bit more responsive, so if it's like new officer school,
So it makes
every
sense.
other
if-
year,
If
you know
you're
what I mean,
representing 5 counties, that would make sense to me, because that's a lot of people.
and cities as well.
Yeah.
Right. Well, but if you really think about the scope of this, between all of the county officials, schools, cities, township township clerks and trustees,
Mhm.
there's a lot of people and a lot of, unfortunately, there's resignations in 90 days, and who's gonna police that? Is that something now that a city clerk is gonna have to be in charge of? A school board secretary? Who's gonna be in charge of the township?
To me,
trustees?
you're gonna have some resignations when you tell them they gotta take their day. But
What happens if they
I'm
don't?
not getting paid, I'm not getting paid very well, so
Yeah, what happens if they don't take the class?
Well, it says the training has to be more than 1 hour, but less than 2 hours.
Oh.
So it's a
That's
brief
in the law
commitment.
that way,
Yes, it's a brief commitment, but you do have to have it. As far as policing it or, monitoring who's been through, that was a discussion that was via email with the COG, the Councils of Government Directors, and we haven't gotten an answer on that one
They
yet.
can't, they're elected, they can't be fired.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
do you get removed from office if you haven't received that within 90
I
days?
don't know, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know how you enforce that, because,
right,
you
good
know,
question.
you're there under a vote of the
Scare
people,
them.
so.
The state?
The law
Sorry,
is.
the editorial.
Yes, it's silent, yeah.
So it sounds like you're interested, you know, for
Yeah.
ECIA
Yes.
to pursue.
It's always
that,
good to
so
have a
we'll continue.
refresher, because
Yeah.
that is something that you can get in trouble with.
There was a class in our spring, you know, that, again, you say, oh, really, I forgot that.
Every time I go through it, yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, I have to remember that, yeah, right? Because we might forget and maybe there's something new, so the request that I
We
got
have-
for us
we
to
have the
pursue
book
it.
In front of us.
It's a handy little book, doesn't take too long. to read.
You know,
Mine's yellow.
Open meeting. My what date is it?
Yeah, I got, this was last spring's I picked up.
Okay, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any other questions for May? Or?
Yeah. Areas maybe that we can help, and I appreciate you saying that ECIA has always been a good partner, and that's what we want to do, right? That's our intent, that's our mission. Other ways have there been ways that you're like, gosh, that's kind of a gap, and ECIA can fill it, like the discussion about the open meetings training that came to me at the end of last week from a city. They're like, hey, we think this might be in your wheelhouse, and I agree, so. Any other things that you're thinking, gosh, we sure wish.
I appreciate the fact again too, that we have good leadership and that if we do think of something, sitting at home on our
Yeah.
couch. You're either a text or a phone call away and say, hey, what do you think? You know, and I appreciate the interaction that you make yourself available, I should say, you know.
Thank you.
Cool.
One last thing, as Mike said, 2 weeks ago, the council approved a new strategic plan. And one of the activities in the strategic plan is to consider rebranding. Apparently, East Central Intergovernmental Association just doesn't roll off the tongue. And so there is some interest in rebranding, perhaps renaming. But an interest from the council to keep the initials the same, so that we can still be ECIA, but perhaps a different name. So we'll be working with a marketing company. One of the things that's important to me, just because I think I always like to joke, I like shiny things. But I think our rebranding needs to include more than just a new name or to fill out that acronym, but our look, right? And to me, that's branding, and what our look is consistent across our many different boards, our nonprofits that are within us, and just our communication. So that's one of the things that probably we'll be tackling first with that strategic plan. But the other thing is board engagement, because as I explained to the council, we need all of you to be able to say, when you're talking with other supervisors, when you're talking to cities within your community, within your county, to say, this is something where ECIA could help. So things that we'll be working on in the next
Sounds
3
exciting.
years.
Look
Yeah.
forward to see where we go from here.
All right.
So we just had somebody walk in you might be interested in, or you probably well know already, maybe,
Yeah,
so
cool.
maybe you guys.
Just came from coffee with that guy.
Oh.
So, yeah. Figured that was who was walking in
Is that
behind
why
me.
he's here?
Yeah, that's why he's here, yeah.
No, thank you very much for your information and your support. We look forward to a partnership into the future, and if we come up with anything else we'd like to see added or looked at,
Yeah.
we'll be sure to let you know, and if there's anything we can do for you guys, let us know.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
You
man.
bet. Thank you.
Have a
Good
good day.
rest of your day.
Anybody else have anything for the good of the meeting? Hearing none.
Motion to adjourn.
I would second.
Got a motion by Nan, second by Mike to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Motion carries.